But Jim, here on the Drive-Thru, let's keep things professional. And let's talk about some modern... Let's talk about some modern wrestling news before we get to your review of WWE Raw.
Well, that won't take long, but go ahead.
AEW has made a few announcements.
Oh, good Lord.
A press release went out as we are recording the day before, yesterday.
Did invitations go out to Tony's birthday party or something?
The O2 in London to host AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door. August 24th, AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision to make Scotland debut at the OVO Hydro, August 20th.
OVO Hydro?
Unless you're supposed to just say, because they're all capitalized, OVO Hydro. That kind of sucks too. But tickets for both events go on sale Friday, May 2nd. All Elite Wrestling Today announced that the O2 in London will host AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door, Sunday, August 24th, marking the first time AEW has ever held an event at the legendary venue. In addition, AEW, well, it's everything I just said in the fucking thing. All right. Well, AEW, that's the first bit of news, and then as we are recording today, this morning...
Well, hold on a second about this first bit of news. I just want to make the comment that they haven't been to the O2, but they've been to Wembley, and then they didn't go back to Wembley because of the same reason they didn't go back to Arthur Ashe, but they went to Australia. They've gone to Australia. That's already over with. They did that, right? Yeah, I seem to remember that. And now they're the stadium show that they're doing this year is in Texas. Hopefully the poor Texans know what they're paying for down there with their tax money, because there's got to be some kind of incentive involved. And now they're going back to London, but they're gonna go indoors and try. I think New Japan, to be honest, will help them more than AEW will at this point, won't it? With the most learned and knowledgeable wrestling fans there in Europe.
What's the O2 Arena, like 20,000 seats?
Oh, yeah, just a mere 20,000.
No, but I'm just saying, obviously, they drew a big crowd at Wembley year one. Year two was still, a nice crowd just for a building like Wembley where you're coming off a crowd almost, more than double that. It didn't look so appealing. So now they're in a smaller room. Do you think they need New Japan to fill that room?
I think New Japan might be the more attractive thing at this point because they've seen a couple of AEWs now, but have they seen a major scale New Japan show that's worth, going out of the way to see, as the kids say.
But here's the other thing about Forbidden Door. What New Japan star hasn't appeared on AEW TV?
Well, that's I'm not saying it's going to necessarily be boffo on pay-per-view, and thankfully it's probably not going to be on regular television, but for the people to get to see all of these people in person in London at the same time when they haven't seen the AEW guys in a while, and again, the New Japan guys, have they done a big scale thing in London where it's something people would want to go and travel to possibly to see? So they'll probably do all right there at the live event, but it's not going to be anything new to the rest of the universe that has to watch on television. It's just another television show or pay-per-view.
And again, they'll be doing television tapings in Scotland. So that'll be a first for AEW. And of course, that is Forbidden Door.
What songs do you think the AEW fans over there are going to sing? Or do they have rhythm? Do the AEW fans, are they going to have the rhythm over there? Are they going to serenade us?
I think they'll probably...
I'm just being silly now.
They'll probably get it right, or it'll sound like that Roman Reigns song's Shreds. But Jim, another AEW announcement. This morning as we are recording, as announced by Fox Sports Mexico, AEW will partner with CMLL to bring AEW Grand Slam Mexico,
oh good God,
to the historic Arena Mexico in Mexico City on Wednesday, June 18th. This marks the first time an AEW event has ever been held in Mexico. Tickets on sale Saturday, April 26th for anyone looking to commute.
Well, this is a strategy, I think, because now he just needs to go to the other, 175 countries there are in the world to go to the first AEW show in that particular country because they haven't pissed any of those people off yet.
So I guess two questions coming out of these announcements. One, not that we haven't raised this before in previous years around the time of Forbidden Door, specifically, what's the benefit to AEW dedicating the level of TV time that they will to promoting this and building to it when it almost never has anything to do with the rest of the general scheme of things they're actually trying to build? It's just dream matches. And on the other hand, is it smart for AEW to do anything they can to pull these companies in as partners when WWE is trying to lock down the system?
That second question first, that's the important thing, is they got to, but problem is every time they open up a talent pathway, an underground railroad to feed them some people, they bring all the, like they did with New Japan, as you said, they bring them all in and shit them all out at the same time on TV and nobody really gets over. And if they're partnering with CMLL now, it's not like that we haven't seen plenty of the luchadors on AEW television. So that's really not going to be anything different. But at least it's some level of cooperation with somebody else around the world for the sake of their base fans that they're going to have to keep happy somehow. And they like that kind of thing. But also for AEW, I think the TV crowd in Scotland will be much better, I would think, for television viewers than, the dead crowds they've got in Poughkeepsie or wherever, where they're just sitting there staring because they're bored by all this. And in Mexico, they're going to, boy, that for the kind of people who like that kind of thing, that's the kind of thing those people are going to like. So they'll have another rabid crowd. They'll do well, whatever. I think they need to get out of the United States as much as possible now that I think about it. But yes, they need to have somebody to work with around the world just to try to get some talent or whatever. But unfortunately, it's slim anyway. And first question, no, it's ridiculous that Tony just wants to have these, in his mind, great matches. And it's the same as Uncle Dave. Oh, the TV's filled with great matches. No, it's not. It's filled with these repetitive gymnastic matches that the base audience likes, and it runs everybody else off. Some of the matches, a precious few of them, are or have been great matches, but most of them are just the same fucking thing with everybody trying to have fun because they're in fantasy land. And then you compound it by having a bunch of people that either the average person in the United States has no idea who the fuck they are and that they've ever been in the business show up on this television, or that it's just people with personalities that nobody gives a shit about. That's a dream. If they say Okada is in any dream match ever again, unless they figure out some way to do a head transplant where they put another body on him, then it's just ridiculous use of that term, because this broken down son of a bitch, I don't think he could have a bad dream without looks like hurting himself.
But, even on the topic of Okada, they're building to him and Kenny. That whole thing is built on New Japan history. It's not built on their history in AEW.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, is they bring these guys in from Japan and put them in what they call dream matches that have either never happened or haven't happened in 10 years, or, boy, wouldn't you like to see this guy against this guy? But these Japanese guys are either tanking it and taking the guy's money, or they're shells of their former self, because every single one of them, Ishii, anyone, every single one of them is a shits. They're either broken down, or they suck, or they ain't giving a shit and they don't try, or they're just jacking off. And you see that. So you see a bunch of people unknown to everybody but the most diehard audience that are expected to come in and get over in a 2-minute package. And then they have matches with other people, which you don't know who the fuck they are. There's no angle behind them, no personal issue except ones that the announcers may manufacture from years before in New Japan. And then that's TV for 4 to 6 weeks and a goddamn pay-per-view. Because this subset of wrestling culture just wants to see guys go in and do moves with each other. And that's why they can't expand. And that's why, but Tony loves it. And the guys love doing it that are making a fortune working for him. So that's why they're never going to expand. They don't get anything else. And they think that because they've gotten a limited amount of attention and appeal on the indies, and then all the indie fans around the world got together and started watching AEW and they ended up with 600,000 people. They think it's good. They think that is and they're looking at these other guys running away with the race and they can't figure it out. But anyway,
what would
there
you think,
you go.
What would you think, just to take it from another perspective, if you were one of these international promotions or promoters, CMLL, New Japan, different structures. CMLL is probably the most secure of anyone just because they own their buildings.
Yeah.
But New Japan is obviously not what it once was. And it's changed ownership a few times already. The Rock the other day tweeted out a photo of himself wearing a New Japan shirt while staring at a Rubik's Cube. And people ran with it like, The Rock's buying New Japan!
Oh, good God.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of stuff you hear about New Japan. But if you're those companies and you see what WWE is starting to do and promote internationally, all you could think, I mean, Mexico's right there, obviously, but all you could think is they're coming closer and closer and closer. You know, they're coming for us. And again, CMLL is a different situation. They own their building. Arena Mexico that AEW will be running, CMLL owns the building.
Well, that's the thing, is that CMLL knows that. I understand with New Japan because, you know, Kevin Owens went on TV wearing a Bret Hart jacket. That doesn't mean Kevin Owens is buying Bret Hart. You know, I can see The Rock wearing a New Japan. It's got a lion on it. You know, whatever the fuck. Or he just wants to fuck with wrestling fans. But it would probably be more detrimental to New Japan to be on the wrong side of the WWE than it would for CMLL. CMLL, as you said, they own their buildings, but they have the history and the tradition. They've been there. They're on the ground in Mexico, and I don't think the WWE can go in and run shows in Mexico just like anybody can in any genre. The circus can go to Mexico, whatever, but I don't think the WWE could ever take over Mexico because of the nature of the way the Lucha Libre is ingrained there and how it's the business is done there. And they ain't going to take remotely a high percentage of the Mexican talent from any company, because they just ain't. There's so many wrestlers in Mexico. They may get the top stars, but they ain't going to get even close to everybody meaningful. But New Japan, you know, the top few guys, they could take them. And New Japan is, because of they're not what they once were. As you said, they're a little bit more vulnerable to, you know, losing another couple of pieces of talent or having even quarterly big WWE events run over there to take steam away from their stuff. They got more to lose.
All this stuff we've seen with AEW and New Japan over the last however many, 4 years, 3 years, it wasn't that way right away at the beginning, we know. But we never hear, oh, the one guy on this show is like the new hot thing in Japan. He's like the brand new guy. We never hear like, this is the person everyone's getting. Like, it's never that. It's just, here is the people that toured with Ring of Honor a few years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and again, some of them were really great in their prime, but that can't be the selling point. And it's been the selling point. That, or if you like Okada's fashion choices and you want to just tune in to see what he's going to do. Man, I'll tell you, he's the ultimate joker out there. Just because he got all this money, he barely works, does comedy that stinks, where he just centers around him saying the word bitch, and then he dresses like a bum. So, yeah, Forbidden Door.
Yeah. So I think they need to leave the boundaries of the United States as often as possible for the sake of having a lively audience, but that's not going to address the creative issues. And again, that's what the show has the look of. We're just going to put a bunch of matches together and everybody's doing their own thing and it doesn't flow.